Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today for our webinar, 30-Minute Email Recipes. My name is Jill, and I'm the Training and Education Manager here at VerticalResponse. And today I'm going to take you through some of the types of emails that you can be sending out and the information that you're going to want to use to put in that email, as well as what you need to do ahead of time. I also have lots of resources for you guys, lots. All throughout the slides, I have some different things that you guys can use, different tools that you can use for creating your emails. And then at the end, I have a couple of resources slides in case you need to go through all of those again. One of the questions that I get at all of our webinars is this being recorded? And the answer is yes, I am recording this. This should hopefully be up on our help site later today. I do have a lot of meetings today, so it might be later in the afternoon or maybe tomorrow morning, but I will get that up there for you. Also, I will put the slides up on SlideShare, so if you want to take a look at some of the slides, you'll be able to go back and take a look at those, and you just need to go to SlideShare and look for VerticalResponse, and you'll find it because it should be the top one up there. So if you think of questions along the way, feel free to type those into the box that you see in your GoToWebinar window, and I will be happy to answer those questions at the end of the webinar. And I'm sure you will have a few, as there's lots of stuff in this. This webinar is probably going to be about 40 minutes. There's lots of stuff for us to cover today, but hopefully you'll get a lot out of it. So with that, let's take a look at what we're doing. So first of all, we're going to talk about some of the things that you need to do before you set up your email. And then I'm going to go into some more specifics about the different things that you're going to be using in your email, images, links, content, things like that. I'm going to go over some of the different types of emails that you can use for your marketing and some of the information that you need to include in those. And as I said, I have lots of resources for you. Hopefully you'll at least come away with some new resources for your marketing. So first of all, mise en place. And this is, you're probably going, what is that? Unless you're a chef. This is the way people in kitchens cook, in like professional kitchens. They have everything already prepped before they start cooking. Everything they need is chopped, it's measured, it's right there at their fingertips, and they can put together a dish in no time. This is the sort of thing that you can do with your email marketing. Knowing what you want to send in an email, or knowing that you want to send an email, is a good starting point, but putting together an email that's really good for your business and your readers is going to take some planning. So if you want to make some things a little bit easier for you and also quicker, because I know everybody is pressed for time these days, collect all the ingredients for your email before you start creating it, and then it's just a matter of putting everything together, and it will only take a short amount of time to actually put your email together. So before you even get started, you need to think about what is the purpose of your email. What do you want the outcome of your email to be? Are you trying to get people to sign up on for an event that you're hosting? Are you trying to get them to purchase something? Are you just trying to drive some traffic to your website? Are you trying to get people to make a donation? What's the purpose of the email? Have that in mind when you start pulling all of your collateral together. When are you going to be sending it? Are you sending it tomorrow? Are you sending it next week? What is the time and the date and the day of the week that you're planning on sending out your email? What is the information that you're going to be including in it? So once you know what the purpose of your email is, then you need to think about the content that you're going to be including in that email. What information do you already have? Do you have your logo ready to go? Do you have some articles that you're going to share? Are you waiting for someone to finish a blog post that you're going to include? Is somebody creating an image for you? Look at what you have and what you need before you send out your email. Get your mailing lists ready. Make sure that you know what you're going to send to. If you're doing any kind of segmenting in your lists, you want to do that ahead of time so that you're ready to go when your email's ready. Have your images cropped and ready for your email. If you're going to crop them or if you're going to resize them, have those ready to go. And then have your links ready. I have links copied on here. This is what I do when I write blog posts. If there's a particular page that I get information from or that I want people to go take a look at, I copy that URL when I'm writing my blog and I paste it right into my blog. I'm not going to leave it in there. I just have that URL handy already. I may as well grab that while I'm going along. Then once I put the blog into our blog product, I don't have to go back and try to find the URLs that I need for those particular pages. They're right there. I just turn them into hyperlinks and take out the part that I pasted in there. And this is what when I'm writing emails as well, I do that with emails too, so that I know which links I need to include in my email. So my links are ready to go, and all I have to do is put them in the little link icon to turn it into a hyperlink. So when you're talking about some of the content in your emails, you have to think about images. Images are really vital to your email. They are like adding salt into a recipe that you're making. You may not know the effect that they're having, but if they're not in there, you will know right away. Images do a lot of things with your email and for your readers. Not only do they tell a story, they also help make it easier for people to read the text of your email, because the images help to break up large pieces of text. So using images is really important. There are some things to know about your images. First of all, you need to make sure your branding, and we're going to talk about this on the next slide, but use your logo, or are you going to be using a banner image? It kind of depends on how you're creating your email. A lot of people have kind of a combo of both. They have their logo, and then they have, it looks like a banner, and there's like links to different pieces of their website, but they're just links. Or you can have just one image at the top that's a banner image that has some links to different pieces of your email as well. If you're going with a banner image, or if you have a hero image at the top of your email, or you have a large logo, you don't want them any wider than about 600 pixels. That way people who are looking at your email on a desktop won't have to scroll back and forth to see what's going on in your email. Also, anyone looking at it on a mobile device will still be able to see pretty well. That scales down nicely. You don't want anything in your email at all that's wider than about 600 pixels, because whatever the widest piece in your email, if you have an image or some kind of block in there, then that's as wide as your email will be, and it won't scale down. So you need to make sure that you're keeping it at a fairly small size. If you're adding images in the body, and I would recommend that you do, and you have text wrapping around them, you want them to be no more than about 200 pixels wide. That will leave room for the text to be easy to read and the image to be easy to see, and not making your email too wide. If you're using the image to kind of break up your content, then again, it could be a larger image as long as there's no text wrapping around it. Adding social icons are really important, so people can find your different social media accounts, and those are usually about 40 pixels square. Of course, you can make them whatever size you want, but that's about the average size. And a call to action button, a CTA, we'll be looking at this later as well. Call to action buttons are usually also 40 pixels high. And you might be wondering, why are both of these 40 pixels? Well, that is about the size, or the amount of space your finger takes up when it's touching a screen. So these are good for people who are looking at your email on a mobile device. And if you didn't know, over 50% of emails these days are being read on some kind of mobile device, a mobile phone or a tablet, something like that. So keeping in mind that there are a lot of people looking at your email not on their desktop computers is important to keep in mind. So 40 pixels you want to use for your buttons and your social icons. Just a couple other things. Your images don't have to be high resolution. It doesn't show up on your browser windows or in emails. High resolution images are really for printing. It doesn't really do much on a computer screen or on a phone. 72 dpi is fine. It doesn't have to be anything else. RGB is the colors. CMYK is for printing as well. RGB is what you need for online images. And probably keep it under 25K, just so that it makes it easier for it to download for anyone looking at your images. Also, if you have images in your email, don't go crazy. You don't want to have a ton of them in there, because if people are on a slower connection, they could end up having it go a little bit slow, and they might not want to wait for your images to download and they'll move on. So don't make it hard for people to see what's going on in your email with too many or really large images. Just a couple other tips. Don't use an image for important content like headlines, dates, or calls to action. And the reason is, if it gets blocked by an email program, your readers aren't going to see it. They're going to be required to turn on the images to see that information, and they may not. And then they're going to lose that important data. Now, you could have this information in an image and then also include it in the text of your email as well. It's pretty important to have text with the vital stuff like dates or sales or headlines or anything that's really important for your readers to see, so they do see it. Also, avoid using just one big image for your email. It could look really empty when somebody opens your email if they haven't turned on the images. A lot of email programs are handling images a lot better than they used to, even just 2 years ago, but you still want to keep in mind that some people may not be seeing the images when they are looking at your email without taking some kind of action. So I said we were going to talk a little bit about branding, and we are. Branding is really important in your email. You want people to know that they've opened the correct email, they're looking at the right information because they saw your name, hopefully, on the from label, so they just need to make sure they're looking at it. So it's important that you have your logo at the top. You can also create your own logo or create a banner at the top if you have your logo but you want to add a little something to it. There are some tools you can use for doing that. Pixlr is good for that. They have a way that you can layer things. You can layer on an image and you can add some stuff on top of that, and you can make a banner pretty easily for the top of your email. Or you can use canva.com. They have a variety of things that you can do to create images for anything. You can use it for social media, you can create infographics, but you can also create images that you can use in your email as well. So those are both free. And so take a look if you're trying to create something and you don't have a creative team to do that for you. You should use alt text on your emails, on your images. Alt text is something that shows up only if your images are being blocked by the email program. And it should say something that will inspire your readers to turn on your images or to take an action with your email, like clicking on a link or going to your website or something. In your logo or your banner image, I would recommend that you put your company name in there and potentially your URL. The URL won't be clickable, but it will be there, and they can always make sure that they're looking at the right information. This is really important for people on mobile as well, because sometimes you don't know that you're hitting what email you're hitting, and the branding becomes even more important for people who are looking at it from a mobile device. A lot of times people want to have a cohesive look between their website and their email. That's why branding also is really important, especially if people have visited your website. One of the things I like to use is called Colorzilla. They make an app that you install into your browser in Firefox or Chrome. I'm going to show you really quickly if I can do this here. I have Firefox. And it's right here, it's this little dropper, and I can click on the dropper and then I can mouse over anything on this picture or anything, anywhere, and it will tell me the color code. So if I wanted to know what this orange was, it tells me the color code, and then I can click it and it copies the code, and then I can paste that right into whatever I need if I'm trying to match up things. So this makes it super easy for you to have matching colors in your email from your website. And it can be an image. These are all images that I moused over, and it found all of those for me. So there are other tools you can use for that. That just happens to be the one that I really enjoy using, and I've been using it for a while. And they have an app for both Firefox and Chrome, and they work the same way. You just click on that little dropper. There's other things they do, but I just love that you click that little button and it'll tell you everything right away. So content is one of those things that's really tough for a lot of people. Most people know they should be sending out an email, but they're just not sure what to put in it. So you have to think about what type of email you're going to be sending out, and then you can gather the sort of content that you want. If you're sending a newsletter, for example, you're going to need some different articles that you're going to be sharing, events or articles, how-tos, depending on what your business is. But you're going to need some different stories that you're going to be including in a newsletter. If you're sending a promotional email, you're probably only going to need 1 or 2 things that you're talking about, a product, a service, just information about your company. So think about what type of email you're sending, and then think about the sort of content that you're going to need. One of the things that I can't stress enough is if you're writing your text ahead of time, which is a great idea if you want to assemble your email quickly, then use a plain text editor. Now, you can certainly write it in Word to start and then paste it into a plain text editor to pull out the Word stuff. Also, if you're using VerticalResponse, you need to use the Paste from Word button in the toolbar, which will strip out all of the word formatting. It strips it all out, so you have to go back in and add bolding and things like that. But Word does not use all HTML when it makes those features in your text, so the bolding and whatnot. And if you put it into an email, it ends up looking really weird when it goes out. So you can't use Word for anything that's actually using HTML. So that would be your email or your website, sometimes your blog. So write in a plain text editor and then add your highlights later. Add your bolding or your bullets or whatever else you need to add in there once you've put it into your email. And then gather the information that you need for your type of email. So if you're doing a promotional email, you're going to want to have the information about your products or services that you're promoting. So if you have a lamp that you're focusing on because you sell lamps, on this particular email, you're going to want to have a photo of that lamp, or maybe 2 photos, the information that you want to share, the links where people can get to it on your website, and a call to action button. If you're doing an announcement, if you're doing an event, you need all of that type of information ready to go. Again, if you're doing a newsletter, you maybe need articles or blogs that you're sharing. You want the contact information for your business ready to go, all of your social media accounts, the URLs for your social media so that you can get all of that set up. Also, any other information that you're sharing, if you have recipes, if you're sharing a cartoon, whatever other things that are being included in your email, you need to get all of that ready to go. Now, I know coming up with ideas for what to put in your email can be hard, and so these are some places to get some inspiration. Quora.com is where people go and post questions about everything and anything under the sun, and then people answer the questions. So you can do a search for a specific industry or a specific topic, and you can see what questions are being asked. And then you can provide content around those. You don't have to answer any of the questions, but you can go see what the conversation is around a certain topic and answer those questions. That's one of the things we do here a lot is look at Quora and see what questions are coming up for email marketing or for social media marketing. And then we write a blog post or we create infographics, and then those get included in our emails. So it all comes back to what we're going to put in our email, and this is where we get inspiration for our content. SlideShare, where I'm going to be putting our slides later today, is also a place that you can go take a look, and this might be something that you haven't really thought about, but you can search for a different topic or you can search for companies on SlideShare. You can take a look and see what your competitors are doing and sharing on SlideShare, and you can create content around that. I'm not saying you have to create a PowerPoint deck, but you know, if your competitors are talking about something specific, then you can create a blog post or create information in your email to answer those questions for your customers. Whatever your favorite blogs are, there's usually an article or 2 that you can share from that. Any kind of current news. Both Twitter and Facebook have trending topics. Take a look at what's trending on those. Some of them are short-lived, but you can also see some of the stuff that's pretty important in our culture right now going through the trending topics. Visually, is a website to share infographics. And again, you can search by different topics and see what people are creating information around. And again, you don't have to create an infographic, but it's a good place to get an idea of what people are talking about right now for your content. Pinterest, just take a look under a specific topic and see what people are pinning. Again, it's a good way to get a feel of what people are interested in right now. Alltop.com is kind of a news resource. It pulls together a variety of resources all on one page, and you can see what's going through on the news there as well. I have a lot of these on the resources page, so you'll be able to see that at the end as well. These are some kind of fun and maybe different places that you haven't looked for content ideas, and maybe you'll find some inspiration there. So I've alluded to this a little bit. Let's talk about some of the different kinds of emails that you can send out for your business. Now, I have at the end of these some information for nonprofits and service-oriented businesses, because I always get questions about that, but I will talk a little bit about that along the way as well. So one of the email types that you should be sending out is a welcome email. So when somebody signs up to be on your mailing list or becomes a customer or makes a donation to your nonprofit, you should be sending them a welcome email. It should have a warm greeting. It should be branded, because these are people new to your service or to your business, and they may not be completely familiar with what you look like, what your business looks like, what your logo looks like. So make sure it's branded. And then you'll want to include some links, and it depends on your business type what sort of links you're going to be including. If you've promised at a sign-up form that if people sign up to be on your mailing list, they're going to get something, this is a place you can include it. So you can include a link to download something, or for white papers. You can include how-tos, especially if you have a B2B type of business, or if you have a software program, it's a B2B business. You can include how-tos so it's easy for people to get started using your system. If you have a help site, or if you have FAQs, you can share those. If you have a blog, you can share a link to that. Some people will put offers in their welcome email. You are not obligated to do that. Or ask for donations. You also don't have to do that. The things in green are just suggested ideas, but you do not have to put those in there. A welcome email should be pretty short. It should have a warm greeting, a couple of links, and then that should be about it. It should not be a very long email. It says short to moderate only because some businesses might need a little more space to help people get started. Like for VR, when somebody joins, the email is kind of moderate length because we have some links to help people get started using our system. So there's a couple of links, there's some videos, so there's some information in there that we want people to see, but you generally want your welcome email to be fairly short. So here's an example of one. This is one of my favorite sandwich shops, and we don't have one here in California. So I have to travel to eat at this place, but this is a nice email they sent when I signed up to be on their mailing list, and it says, "That means a lot to us, so thanks for taking the time to sign up." It's very nice. This is a really short email. They have a nice hashtag that I can use if I'm talking about them on any social account that uses hashtags, which is most of them. And there's a link to finish my profile so that they have some information about me, like my birthday, so they can send me a birthday deal. You'll notice that they are not giving away the farm here. There's no discount. They are not giving something for free. You do not have to do that. Even in a promotional email, I know for some small businesses, giving a discount is really hard, and you do not have to do that. So this is a nice welcome email. It says, "Welcome to the Inside Scoop." They're welcoming me to their email list, and they didn't give me anything but a nice warm feeling. And then they gave me links to find the sandwich shops elsewhere since they're not here. Here's another type of welcome email. This is welcome to the shoe company. They do offer a discount. This could be something that they have on their website. If you sign up, you get a discount. So they have a code in there. They also have a call to action button, get your shop on. So they are encouraging people right from the get-go to go shopping. It also tells you as a member some of the stuff that you get. So they are welcoming people to their mailing list. It's just a little bit different than the other email. So promotional emails. Now these you guys should all be familiar with. I get hundreds of these every day. That is my fault. I sign up for all of them. But there are tons of emails that are promotional types of emails. You are probably very familiar with these. They're usually 20% off, today only. But again, a promotional email does not have to be where you are giving a discount. I have discount in green on here because it is optional. I know, again, small businesses can't always do that. That doesn't mean you can't promote yourself, and it doesn't mean you can't promote your products or services. You can still talk about them. You can still encourage people to make a donation or make a purchase from you without giving them a discount. You need to, again, have it branded. Have your product or service that you're going to be featuring. And again, this is a short email. You should probably have one or maybe two things in a promotional email. You don't want to list everything that you have in your shop. That's too long of an email, and it will dilute the effectiveness of promoting a particular product in your email. You want to have images, of course, for your featured product and a call to action. Usually, if you're selling something, the call to action is going to be buy now or something along that line. If you're a nonprofit, you would have something that says donate now or sign up or come to our event, something like that. Again, it's going to be a short email. Here's one where they're selling something. It says decent jacket sale because these guys are really funny. There's some call to action buttons at the bottom, and then they have something fun that they're doing. They're putting some candy necklaces in random packages of people buying one of their jackets. So that's kind of a fun thing that they've included. But again, it's a short email. They do have a lot of stuff in an image, so some of this should be in text, although there's more text at the bottom of the email that's not in my screenshot. But again, it's right to the point. They're having a jacket sale, go buy a jacket. Now, if you're having an event, and this could be for anyone, I know a lot of nonprofits do events, but also for-profits do events. You know, if you have a retail store, you'll probably have like a special shopping evening, or maybe you do an event where you team up with another local business, or maybe you're going to a trade show or something like that and you're letting people know where you're going to be. For this type of email, again, you need to brand it with your logo, but if you're going to an event, you might also have a logo you're going to be including from that particular event. Engaging images, especially if this is something you've done before, showing people having a good time at your event can be very effective. The date and location is probably the most important thing about an event email, so people know when and where. If you're doing early bird invitations, if you're sending out just invitations in general, or you're doing last minute push, you can include that information and any special pricing for that. If it's at a different location, you might want to include that info plus a map. You probably will be planning multiple emails for an event, starting with early bird type and working your way through. An event email should also be pretty short. You'll notice most of these are going to be short. People have very short attention spans these days. So you don't need to have a lot in there. You just need to have the most important information in there. But you need to make sure you have the right information. And again, not all in the images. So here's one, a friends and family event. This one, there's going to be a discount. It has the date and where you're going to be getting this. This is at their website, so they have free shipping. This is a conference. Again, they have the information about where it's going to be, when it's going to be, what it's about. And on the left-hand side, they have all of the contact information, how to keep in touch and keep up on what's going on with this particular event. And last, we're going to talk about newsletters. And I know a lot of people associate newsletters with nonprofits, but anyone can send a newsletter. I've seen newsletters that have been sent out by realtors and by insurance companies, and they can be really effective. A newsletter is usually a longer email than the ones that we've seen before. There's usually more information in there, and there's usually articles versus just a product being touted. Now, you can certainly include information about your product. There's no reason that you can't. But there's also usually with a newsletter more information about your business, events you're going to, your blogs, whatever it is, there's usually more articles in there. If you have a particular logo for your newsletter, you want to include that. Like for VR, we have a specific logo that we use, and you can, again, make one of those if you want to using some of those tools I mentioned earlier. Each article is going to need an image, so make sure you have those images ready to go. You need to have a short snippet of the articles you're sharing plus links to get there. If you're including videos, you're going to want to have a screenshot of the video plus a link to the video. Again, contact information so that people can get in touch with your business. A donate or a sign up button depending on what type of business you have, and that is optional. You don't have to include that. Something fun, I think having some section in your newsletter with something fun in it is often really appreciated. And as I said, these are usually a little bit longer. So here's a newsletter from the kitchen, and they have a big image, the hero image up there at the top with their primary blog posts that they're sharing, and then all the rest of them are, I'm a terrible screenshot taker, so I was trying to fit this long email on one slide. On the right hand side, you can see the rest of the email where they have all the other articles that they're sharing, and they're kind of different things. There's DIY, how to make classic macaroni and cheese, how I organize my pans. There's all kinds of different things related to what they do, and they're not just one type of article. Now, as I said, nonprofits and service-oriented businesses often look at emails and say, I can't do that. I'm not selling a product. I don't have this or I don't have that. But it isn't true. You guys can do any of the email types that I just talked about. You'll have a different call to action. So instead of saying buy now, it would be donate today or book your appointment now. Whatever it is that's applicable to your business. But you can still send out a promotional email. You can still do a welcome email for sure. You can still do newsletters. You'll have similar content. You'll include images and links and some text. It just might be different stories than what you saw on some of the examples. So here's some examples. This is kind of a combination of a promo and a newsletter. This is from the Norwegian train company. I rode on some trains in Norway last year and signed up for their email. This actually is in Norwegian, and Gmail kindly translates it for me. This is another reason not to do your whole email in images. If people are looking at it in another country, text can easily be translated, images can't be. So I have another email that I get from an Italian train company, but I can't translate it in Gmail because they only use images. So I get the gist of what it's about, but I don't know for sure. So they have a promotion at the top of their newsletter. They're talking about why it's so awesome to take the train versus driving. And then they have some of the things that you can do on the train, and they have articles. And you can see their call to action buttons. The first one is, okay, it says buy train. It doesn't translate really well, but I think it's buy a ticket. So that's the first call to action button, and that is definitely more of a promotional thing. But the rest of them are read more, see the menu, read more. Those are the call to actions about some of the different things that you can do on the train and some of the articles that they have about why it's awesome to be on the train. So again, this is kind of a non-traditional sort of newsletter and business, but you don't have to be a nonprofit or you don't have to be selling something specific like a t-shirt to still be able to do a promotional type of email or a newsletter. This is a nonprofit. This is a promotional email. They don't actually have a call to action button in this email, and they usually do, and that's because they're just talking about something that you can do and it involves this business. They're not asking for a donation from this email. They're talking about a way you can donate when you're doing your taxes. So this is really just a promotional and informational email. So again, you don't have to ask for a donation or ask someone to purchase something to still be promoting your business. They also send out a newsletter, same business. sending out different types of emails. So you're not locked into just one. You should definitely try out different types of emails and see what works for your business. They have some great call to action buttons in here. Find fire preparedness resources, learn more. There's more information as well. So they have all kinds of information in their newsletter. So take a look at some of those things too. Once you send out your emails, you need to take a look at the reporting. And I can't stress this enough. This is one of the things when I talk to people, when I'm doing presentations or when I'm doing webinars, people don't look at their reporting enough. People put together their email, they push send, and they're like, phew, I'm done. But really, you're not done just because you click the send button. Your readers are going to give you a lot of information just by their actions with your email. When they're opening it, what links they're clicking on. The links they click on is telling you what parts of the email they're getting to or what articles they're really interested in. You need to take a look at what your readers are telling you about your email so that you can continue to have an email that's worthwhile for you to send and for them to read. So take a look at your reporting. See what you're doing really well, see what maybe you want to try changing up, and keep evolving your emails as you go along, and you'll get a lot of information and you'll get better at what you're doing. So in summary, I can't stress enough how much easier it is to create an email if you get all the stuff together at the beginning before you start putting your email together. It makes it so much easier, and it's a little less stressful for you if you just have a short amount of time to put together your email and everything is ready to go. Mix up the types of emails that you're sending. Like I said, you don't have to be only sending out newsletters if you're a nonprofit. Send out a promotional type of email. If you're a retailer, try sending a newsletter. There's a lot of information that you can share with your readers and that they're interested in finding out, and they will let you know. So take a look at your reporting after you send out the different emails and see how it's going over with your readers. There's all kinds of places to find inspiration for content for your email, so hopefully there's some that I gave you today that you find really useful. And always, always check your reporting when you've sent out your email to see how things are going with your marketing in general and with your specific email. So these are some of the resources I mentioned during the webinar. If you want to make a call to action button, we have a free site. It's buttons.verticalresponse.com. Colorzilla.com is the thing I used for finding colors to match for your emails or for your website. You can just go to their page and then you can figure out how to install that in your browser. Quora.com is where you can go and search for what people are talking about on different topics. Slideshare.net is where there are different slide presentations that are shared, and you can find inspiration there. Visually is where there are infographics. Again, you don't have to make any of these things. It's just for inspiration. Alltop is where there's a bunch of news resources put together. Pixlr and Canva for editing your images. VR also has some resources for you. Our blog, all kinds of stuff going on there. These are some recent blogs that might be helpful.